quick reactions here. The Bills beating the Jets Monday night, 23-20. We talk all day about the 22 penalties, but instead, let's talk about the QBs. Allen, 215. 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing. Sealed the game with a nice run as well. Pretty clutch. Rodgers still didn't get a 300-yard game. 296. A lot of that coming off a Hail Mary. But now Davante Adams coming to town. Pretty stupid, I think, by him. But Eli, what difference do you think Davante Adams can make?
I think he makes a difference for sure. It's noticeable that Garrett Wilson was the only decent wide receiver. I know Allen Lazard has been picking it up lately, but Wilson's just getting double teamed. He's getting cranked. He took a punishment against the Bills, and I think Davante will just free him up more. He might even have a better luck producing now going forward, now that Davante is going to draw lots of the defenders towards him. So I think it's good overall for Aaron Rodgers with his options now. He doesn't have shitty Mike Will missing his route downfield, slipping. I don't think that'll happen again. So I think it's good. He got his buddy back. They're definitely going to have better luck in this offense, but is it a fix-all? No. They're just slapping a Band-Aid on a leak. Like, this isn't going to help the problem there. Their O-line is shredded. I feel like they had to address that first because Rodgers got sacked so many times against the Bills, and that's their number one priority going forward, I think. But, hey, what you going to do?
Yeah, I think these Jets are pretty much everything but totally dead. They're so close to totally dead that it's like, oh, wow, you get a good wide receiver, but it's not going to really be the deciding factor in them making the playoffs, I think. I think last night you saw Aaron Rodgers try with everything that he could to will the Jets to a win off of like a new coach. You know, like, come on, guys, we're going to turn this season around. And that pick in the fourth quarter, I feel like, was perfectly emblematic of what this is going to be this year. I do think that Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers have a really good connection, though, and I expect him to be quite good on that team.
Yeah, I think Davante Adams can start right away just because he knows Rodgers, and Rodgers basically runs everything anyway, or at least he did before the boy Bobby Saleh got fired. But, yeah, it's not going to do much. I still think the Jets are basically a 7-8 win team at most. This defense that everyone keeps telling me is elite is giving up the second most penalties of any defense in the entire league. That's pretty horrible. Kinlaw was just, what was that? He was a total bust with the Niners, clearly a Robert Saleh guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he got cut like right away.
The trash talking penalty? He was talking shit to the ref and then penalty?
I question his football IQ. Allen Lazard kind of been stepping up. You know, he actually is tied with receivers for touchdown passes. That's pretty crazy to me so far. I think that's going to go way down, though. But, yeah, Rodgers, he's missing throws still. He did play a better game last night. Still, even though he had more yards than Josh Allen, I still think Josh Allen played better. As for the Bills, they grab Amari Cooper. I think that is way more of a difference maker for that team because they have a better quarterback. They have a better coach because they have a coach. They're just the better team. I didn't get the whole Jets are going to win this division coming into this season, and I think the Bills were like, okay, Keon Coleman, it was fun, but you need some development. You're not a number one guy, at least right now. So we need to get a real number one in here. And the Browns were like, hey, well, we're tanking, so suck on this Amari Cooper. Do you think that's going to improve the Bills drastically, Eli?
For sure. You could see they were missing Diggs this season. Like, Allen trying to throw to Keon Coleman, the rookie. There's just no connection there. You could tell that offense was off. He's trying to throw to Kincaid. He can only do so much also. Like, he's more of a complimentary piece. And I think having that number one, Amari Cooper, is going to be incredible. Amari Cooper must be so fired up to get out of Cleveland, to get out of Deshaun Watson's wheelhouse. Like, I think Cooper could go off with the Bills. Allen needs his number one guy to go up and make these huge grabs late game in clutch situations, and I think this is going to cement the Bills to win this division. I don't think anyone comes close.
Yeah, I like Amari Cooper a lot. I was kind of sad when the Cowboys let him go, but the crazy thing to me is what they traded for him. So they got him, and they traded a third, and then the two teams swapped 6 and 7s. Like, how is that all that Amari Cooper's going for? Like, the Browns are, I guess, starting a rebuild, but I think he's going to make an impact on that team quickly.
He gets traded left and right, too, this guy, for number one receiver. It's really weird how often I'm seeing this guy change teams. Like, okay. I think it's because he's a very quiet, sort of reserved guy, and he sometimes can disappear on the road. He definitely did for Dallas. It's a weirdly cheap price for him, but I guess, the Browns, everyone knew they wanted to get rid of him. He's tanking. And the Bills were like, "Okay, we'll take him so he doesn't go to the Chiefs for the love of God." So that's I mean, I never had a doubt that the Bills were going to win this division. Can we talk about Bobby Saleh for a second, guys? That was
He's gone.
I mean, I was surprised because of the timing, but you guys knew how I felt about him. I mean, 20-36 as a coaching record is a bottom 10 winning percentage for any coach who got at least 50 games. So, you know, I'm not going to go out and defend Robert Saleh, but I will say at the very least, his defense was playing well when he got fired. He really got fired because of Aaron Rodgers in the offense.
But Aaron Rodgers claims it wasn't him. He had no part in that. It was not his fault at all.
Apparently, the defensive players were shocked.
Their unit was fine, other than the penalties. But it's like, and as for Aaron Rodgers saying that, listen, I know everyone's trying to dance around this, but I'm just going to say he's lying. He's lying.
What are you going to say to the public? Yeah, I got my past coach fired. That was all me. No one's ever going to admit to that.
Yeah,
Well, he kind of did that with Mike McCarthy too, right?
yeah, he's a coach killer right now.
The funniest thing though was Saleh didn't even get to say goodbye to anyone. He just had to pack his shit and dip. They were like, the security had to escort him out to make sure he didn't say anything to any of the players. I thought that was wild. I haven't heard about that before.
A couple of rumors are floating around that he was going to get rid of Hackett. He's finally going to grow a pair and be like, this is my team. It's not Aaron Rodgers' team. It's my team. And then he told that to the owner, and the owner went to Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers was like, that's not happening. So then the owner fired Hackett.
Demoted Hackett.
Clearly, Aaron Rodgers doesn't care that much about winning because he insists on having Nat Hackett around.
I think he's delusional, man. I think he just thinks he can win his way. And, like, this is why LaFleur was blessed when Rodgers left. He's like, oh, my God, I finally can move on and not be running this older offense. I can add motion. I can add all this other stuff that all the best offensive coaches are running. Because Rodgers didn't want that stuff. You know, Brady loved that stuff. Rodgers wasn't a huge motion guy.
Well, Rodgers can run a good offense, though. It's just nothing else really works, you know, and it's not consistent.
Yeah, and you have to have the guys to run that offense. You know, when you have Greg Jennings and Donald Driver and all these other guys, you can run.
Davante Adams.
Yes, you can run that offense. But when Garrett Wilson is good, but Alan Lazard is honestly, he's playing better than he is. And Mike Williams is he's a dud. So it's like you don't have the guys here. You don't have the O-line. Green Bay, he always had an O-line and all day. That's another thing that goes way under the radar. So things are just lost over there. And Saleh, as for Saleh getting kicked out of the building, apparently he lost his mind and started, swearing and going nuts when he got fired. So
the thing I saw about the Jets going forward, though, they want to play more into the run game. And Rodgers has said, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm all for it. Because they have Breece Hall, who killed it against the Bills. Like, we know he's one of the best running backs. Like, he went loose against the Bills, and they got Braylon Allen, that rookie too, who looks promising. So send the run game, and then Rodgers can complement it with his new wide receiver. The chemistry's there. So maybe they make a little bit of a streak here. They string a couple in a row here, and people start believing again. I think they're going to be fringe, though. They're going to be fringe. They're going to be competing for a playoff spot, I think, when it comes down to it in week 17, 18. But they're not going to make it.
It's time for the Dallas Cowboys, Joel. Eviscerated at home for the fourth time in a row. Third time this season. This time to the Lions, 47-9. Could have been worse if the Lions weren't trying to embarrass them with every trick play that they've ever heard of. Joel, thoughts on your favorite team and NFC East Division winner Cowboys?
Oh, man. Okay. So here's what I got for you. It was one of those games where the second it started, you're like, oh, they're just going to be fucking horrible all day. I was like, oh, my God. I wasn't even surprised, though. But holy shit, this team, it looks like it's impossible to play offense. Like nothing works. Dak and CeeDee Lamb are on totally opposite ends of the page, like not even close. And Dak just fucking tosses up anything. There's no run game, even though there was good run game against Pittsburgh. But it was a shameful performance. Happy that it was on Jerry Jones's birthday so that he can be embarrassed at home. The Cowboys have allowed, I don't remember the number, but a ridiculous amount of points at home in their last 4 games. And something's got to give. They're a bad team right now. And you're definitely not going to win the division. Although they might still beat the Eagles in a couple weeks because the Eagles are poo. Anyway, I digress.
Eli, you go first before I have my fun with this team.
I just found it funny in that game. The Lions were playing with their food. Simple as that. That one red zone drive, I think 3 of the plays they tried to scheme an O lineman to get a touchdown. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen. I've never seen an NFL team take another team that unserious. Like they were like, these guys are kindergartners we're playing with. Why are we trying? Like that was the biggest shit kicking ever. And happy birthday, Jerry Jones, I guess. Happy birthday.
Yeah, Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, they were out to embarrass the Cowboys. Like,
Yeah.
it was your guys' fault that you didn't line up right or you didn't, talk to the refs properly or whatever that miscommunication was. It wasn't Dallas's fault that you lost, but they took it all out on Dallas. And it was like, okay, I guess. They could have scored way more. Even Tom Brady commentating that game was like, I'm questioning some of these calls right now. He's like, let's just stick to basic. Dak was god-awful, especially for the highest paid player in the league. Geno Smith threw for $395 on this defense. Dak, 178, 2 picks. Like, what?
Hey, well, Geno's a great quarterback. Right? Don't compare them like that.
Geno's on a complete downslide. Like, I don't even know what to say at this point. This Dallas team is bad. They're a bad football team. They don't have a lot of talent. They're not good.
There's so little talent on this offense. Okay, think about it like this. Zach Martin, great on the O-line. Other than that, the O-line is average at best. Okay, Dak, highest paid player, average at best. CeeDee Lamb, above average, but there's nobody to help. Not a running back, not another wide receiver. Ferguson's a decent tight end, but he's not something to like go crazy about. And it's literally just CeeDee Lamb. And Dak's fucking chucking it into double coverage, avoiding the checkdowns, and it just is terrible. It's
Dak
horrible.
keeps turning it over in the red zone. When the Cowboys play a good team, they're a joke, a complete joke. The defense is horrific. I'm going to talk about David Montgomery for a second. He was special in that game. Like
he's special in every game this season.
Every time he had the ball, man, I was like, this guy looks so hungry. He's breaking tackles. He's stiff-arming guys. I was like, dude, I was like, this guy's out to hurt people, man.
Remember what he was on the Bears before he went to the Lions, man? It's like he's transformed into a completely different running back.
That's what Matt Nagy will do to you, though.
Yeah, and a terrible O-line and a terrible, it was all awful there. But still, man, he looks like just grateful to be here. He's giving it everything. Yeah. I was like, damn, man, he looked like Marshawn Lynch out there with the way he was playing. It was crazy. Every time I got the ball, I got like so excited. I was like, look at this guy.
Yeah. He's fun to watch.
He was a lot of fun. And Gibson's there too. Team is deadly. The Hutchinson loss, horrible. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the video. It's absolutely disgusting.
Oh, did I ever?
I stayed away from it. I knew it was going to be bad, and I was like, I'm not watching that.
It wrapped around.
Dude, I'm not watching that,
man. And it was.
It looked like it was made of rubber.
Is that worse than the Nick Chubb injury last season?
No.
Nick Chubb was worse, but it's like on the same level, basically. But
yeah,
the Chubb one was worse just because he was stationary and it looked like his legs separated from his body.
The bone entirely just disappeared. It literally went looped around.
And he knew right away. You could read his lips. He's like, it's broken, and I was like, that's a massive, massive loss. He has 7.5 sacks. His entire team, all the other defensive players, have 7.5 sacks combined. A completely disastrous loss for a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl.
I saw like an odds prediction on that, and it's like without Aiden Hutchinson is to win the Super Bowl. It's like 50-something%, but with him it was at like 70%. So it drops 20% without him. That's crazy.
You could have been Defensive Player of the Year this year. Like he was playing out of his mind. It sucks. It really sucks. But as for Dallas, bye week, and then they have the Niners.
Yeah,
we're gonna get shit kicked.
It's in San Fran, which might be better for Dallas at this point, but like I don't care if it's also bye week.
San Fran's dialed, man.
Thank you. Bring me the number one pick.
What are you guys gonna do? Yeah, obviously they still can't run the ball. McCarthy lucky to still be employed at this point.
No, it's not luck. That's
Rico Dowdle.
Jerry Jones endured like 8 straight years of Jason Garrett 8-8 and wouldn't fire the guy.
Yeah, by the way, we didn't do a pod last week, but I was going to give Dallas a bit of credit for running the ball well on Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But it's such a good game plan. Great game plan.
I was going to give Mike McCarthy even some credit. I was like, nice job calling.
And Dak even deserved credit on the last drive. He actually did it on 4th down. I was so certain we were going to lose. I went nuts, actually.
Dak Prescott made a clutch throw, which has just never happened. So I was like, okay. But then this week, they just erase it all. And so, this team is very bad.
Yeah.
That division is very bad, as we've been saying. Speaking of that division, Philadelphia Eagles survive the Cleveland Browns 20-16. A.J. Brown's back. Slim Reaper. D. Smith. Lane Johnson also back from injury. Eli impressed with the Eagles after that win.
No, how can I be? That was a very sketchy win against a basement team. The Browns have no offense. They're not a threat at all. And somehow this game was tied going late into the game. Like, Eagles, come on, man. You got Davante Smith back. You got A.J. Brown back. Hurts, you got your weapons. And A.J. Brown had a great game. Yet still, you only eke out a win by 4 points against a basement team. Their offense is so much more talented to only win by this margin. Like, I don't understand what was happening. And Nick Sirianni, too, man. What a dumbass. Like, what are you doing? Taunting your own fans, taunting the crowd? Like, that you got to be serious as a coach. Like for people to take you seriously, don't do that dumb shit. Like, I get it. He's trying to be a part of the game. He's trying to be a part of the guys and get that emotional aspect going. That's just way too much for me. It's like you're losing me at that point. Like, you're being a dumbass. You're being a dumb shit. You're being everything related to being dumb. So, yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, Sirianni's such a fucking clown. This guy's like, oh, fuck, like, we're not doing badly. Let me shave my head and send a message, you know? And then you get all your weapons back, and you barely beat the Browns. Like, exactly what Eli said, but I'm dumbfounded. You know, I could not believe Saquon didn't get in the end zone there at any point. And it's just like, I envy the amount of talent they have on that offense, and they still don't do shit with it. It actually makes me so happy. Anyway.
Yeah, that was off a bye week too, by the way. I echo everything both of you said. Was not impressed at all. Hurts didn't give a ball away for once. That's nice. But it's clear he really needs his weapons, or else he really doesn't look the same, can't carry a team. Sirianni convinced me less than ever. Yelling at his own fans. The new Kendall Roy look is an absolute joke. Like,
Kendall Roy.
Are you kidding me, man? Like,
I haven't heard that.
he looks so silly, and then he brings his kids to the post-game presser so that he can't get roasted as much by the media, the harsh Philly media. It's like, dude, stop yelling at your own fans. I've never seen that. Grow up. You're coaching a football team, not a beer pong squad. Like, get your shit together. That's embarrassing. That's off a bye week, and you score 0 against the lowly Browns team in your first 5 drives. That's pathetic. Washington looked better in a loss than the Eagles looked in a win against a terrible Browns team. That was bad. That was really bad. So talk about a coach that needs to get fired instantly.
Your Eagles, man, they're not looking too good.
Not impressed at all. Like,
yeah.
The only thing that they can hang their hat on is they look slightly better than Dallas. That's it.
And they have Saquon Barkley too, and he did nothing in that game, which is crazy. Like, that is such a stacked offense. It kills me. Like, to see how they're playing compared to what they could be. I don't get it.
That's embarrassing. Lane Johnson back is huge for them, but my God, that was rough. Okay, last reaction. Cincinnati Bengals got their second win, besting the Giants 17-7. Offense didn't look as deadly in this one, but luckily they were against Daniel Jones and a kicker who looks like he was paid off by the Bengals. Eli, I'll give you credit for sticking to the Ravens as your division winners. Right now, that looks correct. But
Thank you.
Do you see the Bengals making the playoffs as a wild card?
No, I don't see the Bengals making it. That win against the Giants, that didn't do enough for me. I felt like they should have beat them by a larger margin there. They had no excuses. They had all their weapons. The Giants are a shit team, and the new running back for the Giants, Tyrone Tracy, put up over 100+ yards in total on them. It was like they couldn't stop the run. Their defense has been bad all season long. So when they play good teams with good run games, they're just going to get shit kicked again. So I don't believe in the Bengals, especially now they're 2-4. They're already in the hole. No matter what their offense can do, I don't think it will be enough to get them into the playoffs. I don't.
As much as I have a lot of trouble counting out the Bengals, they have way too many very real problems. Like, they're not an all-around team that's built particularly well. Their whole thing is we have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and we're going to score a bunch of points, and then you don't, and Joe Burrow leads the team in rushing yards, and it's a disaster, and you narrowly beat the Giants. and I do not think this team is capable of going on the crazy run that they will need to make if they're going to make the playoffs.
Zach Taylor's a dumbass too. Before you go, he's an absolute dumbass. He's looking dumber and dumber as the years go by.
I do think he benefits from having Joe Burrow as his quarterback. That's why he sticks around. But as for not being a well-rounded team, yeah, I totally agree. The O-line still isn't right. Burrow was getting hammered in that game. Giants defense has actually been kind of sneaky good this season. But even without Thibodeau last night, Burrow took some big hits in that game. Big run that he made in that first half was the difference, which was just a shocking, what the hell? How'd that happen?
Never seen that before.
Yeah, that was crazy. Let's compare them to other AFC teams for a second. So let's say, for the sake of argument, Bills, Texans, Chiefs, Ravens all win their divisions, okay? Anyone have a problem with that? Bills, Texans, Ravens, Chiefs. Just for the sake of argument. Patriots, Titans, Browns, Raiders, Jags, all out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Steelers look like they're getting in at 4-2. Probably they can squeak it out. Their schedule does get way worse, but they can probably get in at one of the seeds. So that leaves 2 open spots. Jets? I don't think so. Denver? I think even less of the Jets. Miami? No, they're broken. Even with Tua coming back, they can heat up a little bit, but I don't think so. The Colts?
With Flacco?
No, because Anthony Richardson's coming back now.
And someone needs to hurt him.
Here's the issue, though, is like you can say all these things, but they still have to win the fucking games. You know, they're still only 2-4.
But now I'm looking at who do you trust more in these situations now? Do you trust,
obviously, I would not count Joe Burrow out in all these games, but at the same time,
trust these teams that I'm naming more than the Bengals? The only one that I'd say right now I can probably trust more is the Chargers. I'd say, and I think the Chargers are going to get
in the game against the Chiefs. In a game against the Chiefs, you could pick the Bengals and like have a decent chance most times, but I think they don't show up as much against other teams.
Yeah, it is weird. But 2 of the teams I just mentioned are getting in. I think probably Chargers and Steelers, and then there's another spot open. I think the Bengals could get in there.
I think it is a dogfight, though. You're right. Like, you're pointing out that the division is, or the conference is dog shit. Besides for these division winners, like there's definitely an opportunity there. But the Bengals' schedule is pretty tough, though. Like like Joel said, they still need to win games. I think I'd pick the Colts over to get in this season.
Really, over the Bengals?
I don't
know.
The
Bengals don't look promising. They don't like even show signs of they're gonna break out, except for when they played the Chiefs.
Yeah, they definitely put
this week was not inspiring at all.
No, it was not. Honestly, I think the Giants did outplay them in that second half and were pretty.
Yeah,
they have Daniel Jones
and Tracy was running the ball all over them.
Yeah, well, he did that to Seattle too, right? He's kind of just. But
still though, you got to stop him if you want.
No one has film on him, but they he took so that defense is horrible. There's no question about it. But I do think the Bengals are going to sneak in right now. But yeah, as you guys say, they do have to win these games that are on their schedule. They can't start losing. That Giants, if they lost that Giants game, I'd be.
They cannot afford to lose even like 2 more games this year. That's your issue. They have made the margin for error so small. They have to go on crazy win streaks to just make the playoffs.
They can lose 2 more, but they can't lose many more than that.
Yeah, but like 2 more.
I'd say 2 is the max.
Yeah, 2 you're there. You're what? You're 10-6.
Here's a quick
10-6 with 2 more losses maximum.
Yeah,
outcome is 10-6.
Browns next week.
They have trouble with the Browns.
They do, but now no Amari Cooper. Deshaun is worse than ever. That team is
even more.
They'll beat
It's
the Browns.
Classic upset spot. You know,
I know.
Classic. We're dumping our good players, and these guys are pissed, so they're going to go out there and crush the Bengals.
I don't think that team is worse than ever. Then they have the
I think
Eagles.
The Bengals are going to win, but it's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee. None of these games are a guarantee. I'm not saying any of these are a guarantee. I'm just saying
your house on it.
In one way. Then no, you can't do anything guarantee with this team where they are right now. Now it's just like you pray. But next they have Browns, Eagles, Raiders. They could win all 3, and then you're sitting at 5-4. Then you're at Ravens again. They could have won that at the first time around. We'll see. You know,
they're not beating the Ravens.
The Ravens are getting better too. The Ravens are
getting better. It gets tough later.
Do you think Derrick Henry won't go off for 2 touchdowns against the Bengals on like 100+ yards? Come on.
Well, he didn't last time, so.
But now they're using him more. They're using him differently now.
And they were using him a lot in that
game this
week. Those first couple of games, they weren't using him nearly as much as they are now.
Yeah, but against the Bengals, they used him a ton. The Bengals shut him down in the first half. It was only until overtime he broke one. That was it. He was shut down.
A touchdown earlier, right?
Yeah, but not many yards. Like you'll take a touchdown, okay. But is the guy roasting you? No.
Points.
You know when the Bengals are on bye?
In fantasy. They are on bye. So they have those games I mentioned, then they have Ravens, Chargers, and are in a bye week in week 12.
Okay, so they have the benefit of like a somewhat late bye week because their backs are already against the wall, so they have to play high intensity football until week 12 now, and then they can get a break. But like they have to win all these games, I think.
Yeah.
All of them.
Their bye week is against the Steelers right after, which is a team they also struggle with. So that's going to be
a lot.
Yeah, they struggle. They really struggle in these in-division games. So they need to this year. They need to sweep the Browns. That's for sure.
From what I've seen, they could lay a shitter against the Raiders. Like they could. That's losable for them. Like I'm not.
All of them losable.
Guaranteed.
They're all losable.
They're a big fucking question mark of a team.
Yeah. This is pure speculation. They're all losable now. You can't feel confident in this team. But I'm just looking at them compared to other teams. Anyway,